All right, I've got a lot of headphones here, and I'm seeing only a part of Shisha's face. Please adjust your camera so that we can see you entirely. Thanks. Aaron, thanks for staying up in LA so late. Thank you very much. Yeah, Prashant, I'd like to see your earring. I don't. Oh, I see it now. Finally, great, fantastic. So let's begin by asking a question. What strengths has India shown in the area of VFX? What strengths do we have? Who's going to take this up? Come on, Sanjay. Ankur. Ankur, are you there, or have you kind of Ankur?
He's facing some login issues, so we're just trying to fix it up for him.
Okay, so Sanjay, do you want to take a shot, of Prashant or Aaron? Who wants to take a shot?
I'm happy to. I think that most disciplines, we've been a studio that's grown over the past almost 11 years in India from a pretty nascent form, starting with the simple task of roto. And right now we've been able to replicate most of our pipelines, both VFX and animation and 3D conversion in India. So I think the skills continue to improve. I think it's imperative that you have coaching and teaching and collegiate sharing from the West to bring skills up to par. But for the most part, I think India is really stepping into its own. I have not had a department that has failed in India ever. Part of that is just, I spend pretty much 3 months out of the year in India, making sure that, we understand what's going on at the studio and we get to know the artists and know, how they're thinking and try to bring the Hollywood experience to them. Because I think that's the biggest challenge is having artists understand how they connect back to these films or these television series.
So what do you do in India, Aaron? Tell the audience a bit who doesn't know too much about the work you do.
So the work that we do, we have 3 separate pillars in our studio. We do 3D conversion. That's sort of our original studio. We've done over 100 films, some of the biggest Hollywood films out there. We also do VFX. Most recently, our credits would be on The Mandalorian, the Lord of the Rings series. We just finished up on Hawkeye, and we do a lot of work with both Lucasfilm and Marvel and Weta. And then in animation, last summer, we were proud to have 2D animation come out of India for a feature for Space Jam, which was really exciting. And then most recently, we're doing episodes of What If.
Great. So you have facilities in India? You have a studio?
Yeah. We have a principal studio of roughly 1,500 artists in Pune.
Fantastic. All right. Now, who else wants to take up our strengths, India's strengths in VFX?
Hey. I don't know. Oh, sorry, go on.
Please go ahead. Please, Prashant, it's all yours. Right. Nobody wants to listen to me. They want to listen to you guys.
All right. Thank you. Anil, first of all, thank you for having us around for this panel. And hi to everyone, the other panelists. So I would like to say that here in Framestore, where we work, I think we kind of believe in having like a diversity of kind of talents. So we have a good mix of like engineers to mathematicians, people from backgrounds of, biology, zoology, and coders, sculptors. So kind of, we make sure that we work, to kind of blend that art and technology, So we that's the kind of strength I believe. And using
that's not India's strength. That's your studio strength. I'm talking about India's strength.
India's strength. I think, yeah, maybe getting there. I think we do have that kind of a mix of artists. And I think, the tech should be kind of treated in a way that, we kind of help the artist to kind of use it in a very creative and a more comfortable way. So that should be the key, I believe.
Okay, Sesha, do you want to come in and
when you talk about India's strength, the biggest thing I think we should talk about here is the commitment of the artist, or the interest what the artists are showing, the kind of growth we had in the past few years. It's like tremendous. Like we had started with a very low kind of VFX inputs in the Indian industry, and then now we are seeing a lot of movies and OTT platform series which are pre-planned with VFX. So they are kind of confident that yes, the Indian team can do it, and I think the hats off and the to the great team in India what we have, and the hard work. In fact, yes, definitely the hard work what we are doing here. Hats off to that. Yes.
Okay, Shesha, last words or first few words actually.
Yeah, I think I will come to the story later, but initially, when if you ask us about what the strengths are, is obviously India has become a go-to hub for a lot of the services for almost all the international companies and a lot of homegrown talent. Why has that happened? We've been around for the last, quite a few years. The international work has been going on for the last 20, 25 years. From a low-end work from Roto and Prep and other things which started 25 years back. Right now, all international companies are trying to achieve end-to-end work out here. And I think we as a company and DNEG have been able to do that over quite a few years in doing end-to-end services in the all range. It's not one discipline. We do the entire range of work. We pick up 200, 250 shots or 500 shots of a movie. We're able to do the execution aspect of it completely in India. So when you look at it in as a success or as India as a whole, what are India's strengths is obviously, scale, availability of talent, and the ability to, there are a lot of, like one of the speakers spoke about the hardworking nature of our people, the dedication, and now the accessibility and of tools, which used to be probably not as easily available, have become much more easily available. And I guess, also, people, also the education system, which is able to supply this huge volume of people for us to be able to scale up, is a part of the story. And as any other BPO or services industry, English being the predominant speaking language, that's also helped. And these have been the strengths which has made India one of the biggest post-production hubs, as I would like to say, globally.
Okay. Has Ankur managed to join in? Not yet? Okay. So let's go back a little bit. You're saying that we managed to get, but there are very few studios like yours, there's, the international studios have come in, but you're one of the few Indian studios, prime focus, going on to acquire companies globally. FilmCGI is still a fledgling, and we have many, many fledgling studios. Famulous is there. There are a few studios around, but they haven't scaled up to the level to the global levels that we had. We have very few better digitals in India.
So I'd like to take this first. I'll take this first, Amit, because it ties into the story that you spoke about. For Prime Focus and DNEG, it didn't happen overnight. For it, it's the story is out of a typical Silicon Valley story, where a 19-year-old starting off from a garage in Santa Cruz, now owning one of the biggest post-production companies or visual effects companies in the world. It's taken the journey has taken 25 to 27 years. And there have been multiple steps that have been taken in the process, or there's been the journey, right? And it would be presumptuous for us to say that we can do everything in India, okay? But the biggest support structure Namit had to achieve the story is his presence in India and his ability to leverage the Indian capabilities and grow the Indian capabilities. And if you look at it, if you take a moment, give me a moment to tell you about the.
Please take your time. We have good 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
You spoke about VETA, ILM, and I'll talk a few other studios in the international space, and also the other bigger services company. We need to analyze a little bit here. Look at VETA or look at ILM or VETA. They were created initially or set up by big filmmakers who wanted to tell a story and their vision, and who had the ability to get the funding for technology advancements and able to do the research and development to set it up over a period of time, right? George Lucas and Peter Jackson, and they were able to do that over a period of time. And ILM has been there for 40, 45 years, and VETA maybe has been around for another 20, 25 years. So these guys, that's the story. Then you look at the other set of studios which got spawned in UK because of the tax rebates. that got a huge amount of work that went into the UK in the early 2000s and things like that. And further, if you look at it, and those companies further are owned by huge post-production services companies who have a history of hundreds of years, like Technicolor or Company 3D Lex. They're all companies who've been in the post-production and film business for over 100 years, right? And then you look at companies like Scanline. How did they become unique? They were companies who developed technologies to become really good with water and some effects. They started out of Munich and in the late 80s, and they were a success story uniquely because of the technology that they developed. Okay, and they were able to then scale up to do the wider range of work. And obviously the UK-based companies I'm referring to obviously are MPC, Framestore, CineSite, all of them. And a few more companies maybe I'm missing out. So they're all spawned and they've developed, and they also become good at a particular area of work and they develop. So taking the story and tying it into India, if you were to see, how did these companies become successful? Obviously, DNEG is a story where we went from India. The owners or the majority stakeholders are Indian, as Indian as we can get. And we were able to use the stereo story also to establish the Hollywood connections, which an Indian company always finds it difficult to establish with the Western companies, right? And then we wrote that story, and then we were able to, leverage and try to buy a Western company over a period of time. We've developed and married it over and we are what we are because of our global facilities. And the clients are sending work to places where the tax rebates are. That's where the production hubs are going to be, or where the endpoint is going to be. Now, for Indian companies to become successful, what do we need to do? Obviously, if you look at the space, also a lot of the big Indian VFX companies also are an extension of the filmmakers currently, and obviously there are independent companies also. I'm talking about Red Chilies, or talking about NYVFX Wala and Eshraj, and a lot of guys are extensions, right?
Shesha. Give Aaron a chance to speak. He looks like he's bursting.
Let me finish my point.
It's all good.
Let him continue.
Yeah, please, please.
So what I'm trying to say is we need Indian filmmakers who can create a global product, not a product for India alone. If they can partner with Indian companies, that will be one route to take. The second route is being really innovative in creating tools or technologies to catapult.
So actually, you're finishing of the whole session. I was going to get to these points later. There's nothing to talk about. You're done.
So I know these are the 4-5 points I think.
No, but we can address each of them as we go along. I wish I had not spoken to you before this session, so you would have not known what I'm going to ask.
No, because I've just observed the 5-6 companies.
No, don't please stay on. Please stay on. Calm down. We were talking earlier, both Shesha and I wish I'd spoken to the rest too. And when we discussed all these points before, so he actually preempted my questions, which is going to make it a tough task now for me to continue with this, which is good. In a way, it's challenging for me as a moderator to think off my feet. So, what you're saying is that Namit took one route, which is one route or route, which is acquiring companies globally, and getting skin in the game. First, getting excellence, getting a good reputation in stereo work, and possibly a DI or whatever else you were doing at that time, and then acquiring and then getting more work. As far as, let's move on to a small Indian company like FilmCGI. Framestore is an international company, so I'd like Indian companies to grow. Though I want Framestore to come and grow in India also and give work to people, but I'd also like FilmCGI to grow. And of course, Aaron's company also should grow, but I want Indian, like Prime Minister Modi's main mantra is make in India. And let it be by Indians and founded by Indians. So Sanjay, over to you. What's your story going to be? I mean, you'll have just set up in Thrissur, right? You'll set up something.
Yes. So FilmCGI, we've been in for around 8 years in this. So we primarily.
Hey, Shesha, please don't go. Stay. He's gone.
No, I'm not going. I just take a personal call.
He's just turned off.
I thought you got pissed off at me and you went. Okay.
Yes. So earlier our mainstream work was more on CG animation, but we had a smaller team of VFX crew running. We were looking at more of smaller works in VFX, and now it is because of this pandemic time. I would understand we kind of beefed up into a larger studio with over 100 and 150 VFX artists now. That's where we have a VFX studio here in Thrissur, which is in Kerala. Right. So we are currently working on a lot of Bollywood movies, OTT releases for Netflix, Prime, Amazon Prime. So the thing is, we are actually having all the talents in here in down south in Kerala. So the COVID times, whatever came in, we kind of had an option of getting people down here. So why not open up a studio here, make them keep working from home, or they would be easily accessible studio for them, right? So,
but you also have benefits from the Kerala government. They're giving a lot of benefits to you all, right?
Right.
Cheap land space, cheap.
We are, yes, slowly getting into that, but not fully there yet. Yes, we are definitely going for that. But as of now, it is still work in progress, I would say, for those policies and stuff from the Kerala government. Yes. Yeah, but definitely our plan is to go ahead with these domestic works as of now, and then just grow into our international. The target is that international works to be.
So what do you want to acquire companies, or you want to?
No, we are planning to stay as FilmCGI, and we are trying.
No, but you can acquire other companies like Prime Focus did.
No, I'm not sure about the plans yet, but yes, definitely we are planning to grow with some satellite offices around India, like what we have in Thrissur. Pune is always going to be the head office for our studio. We have a Thrissur studio, which is mainly catering to the VFX, and Pune, which is going for the CG animation part. And then we're planning to set up satellite offices in Chennai, Hyderabad, wherever we could, so that we can get in talents locally and then collaborate.
You're looking at catering to the domestic market, the domestic requirements, and secondly, also going for some international work.
Yes.
Not the other way around. So we still, and hopefully producers in India will start, dipping into their pockets and giving you more money to do the VFX rather than having you scrounge. And, like little, most of course, the money that's coming in is higher now, but it's still not enough as compared to Western markets.
You're right. But definitely we can see the change in their thought process. The movie makers coming up with the contents, which is pre-planned for visual effects rather than.
No, I'm not talking about pre-planning. I'm talking about budgets.
Yeah, budgets also. I mean, if they have a plan for VFX, that means they come up with a better budgets, I would say, right? So there are projects which are coming in with low budgets and making some cleanups and stuff like that. But yes, we are seeing some of them coming in with good money, proposing good work to be seen. They are aware of what is happening in the international market. So that's a chance for us also to just match up to that, give them better results for.
No, but you're not doing. You're still doing roto and prep work for international markets. No. Are you into further doing full scenes and full sequences?
No. We are catering to the domestic markets as of now. We are taking up whole projects as such, end-to-end work rather than sticking to roto and prep. We are doing the roto prep, compositing, set extensions, asset developments, animation, the whole package.
Fantastic. Yes. So now the Aaron story is totally different. You're based in LA, right, Aaron?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to come to the panel, was just try to give the view of somebody from the West who came and really fell in love with the talent in India. It's a very different journey, I would say. When I first heard that we were going to open in India, I had a lot of people filling my head full of like what it was going to be like when I went to India. And I remember helping move computers when we were only like 50 people. And I met a young man whose name was Harik, and he said that he was with our depth team. He says, but what I really am is a pop locker. And then he proceeded to break dance better than anyone I had ever seen on Venice Beach in Los Angeles.
He can't beat me.
Exactly.
I'm a breaker too.
But what it really made clear to me is forget everything that you've been told and really believe in the talent in India. And that, along with my managing director, Praful Gade, we really formed a very tight East meets West mentality that we would learn from each other and that the studios would really learn from each other and try to give equal footing to the artists here or the artists in Canada or the artists in Los Angeles. And it's really been a pretty amazing journey doing it that way. I think it's created a pretty healthy studio. And at the same time, that studio has delivered work for, some of the top directors in Hollywood to much applause.
Yeah, but is it full shots, full sequences, or is it low-end work?
No, it started with the low-end work, but now we're doing full compositing. We're doing lighting and compositing as well. So we have a different system. We have a proprietary asset and production management system called Flux, where the shots can move around the world freely. So we have very integrated pipelines between many places, with usually some supervision taking place in Toronto per se, but then the shot work happening in Pune, and it kind of can flow pretty rapidly.
Okay, I think folks in the chat box are going berserk. Please listen to what these guys are saying. Chat later, because you won't learn from them then. They're putting up innocuous statements. Shaktiman is coming soon. I'm inspired by Pushpa. Forget it. You can talk about that later offline. Okay. Now coming back to Prashant, you're an outside studio coming in. Again, your perspective. I mean, are you looking at growing this to become a 7,000, 8,000 seater facility, or you're looking at being very focused in the work you'll do, or you're looking? What is the plan?
Yeah, the plan is to definitely scale the team here, but not like 7,000 for sure. I think we kind of make sure that we get the right talent. As my other panelists said, that we definitely have some amazing talent, but with the fact that there are so many studios coming up here, it's hard for us to kind of get the best talent. So I think we are very particular about that. We kind of make sure that we kind of handpick the people we kind of getting on board and get them up to speed and understand the pipeline. But yeah, the plan is sometime in the future, I don't know about 7,000, but at least, a few thousands to kind of have a complete short production work here in Mumbai. So I think that's the goal.
Okay. And you believe that, are we there yet, or are we not there? I'm talking about the industry as a whole.
I think we're getting there. We're definitely getting there.
We are getting there. The key word is
getting
there. We are not there yet.
We have the right talent. It's just that, people, the artists kind of need to understand the entire short production work. They need to kind of, understand how their work kind of looks, how it kind of flows down the pipeline. So, and working closely with some of the directors and visual effects supervisors and, CG soups, that will help them kind of understand, what it takes to kind of, push that level and make sure.
I'll come to the weaknesses later. I just wanted to know how many of you think, are we there yet? That we are there? How many of you think we are getting there? How many of them think we're already there?
I think the proof is that there are studios delivering final shots from India. Look at Shisha and DNEG, they do that day in and day out. So I think that we're also starting to see a lot of cross-pollination. A lot of Indian talent is now getting recruited to other places around the world, which is really exciting. So,
yeah, Sanjay wanted to say something.
Yeah, I could speak more on the domestic industry. I would say we are definitely not there yet, but yes, it's not very far. So we are getting there.
Okay.
There is a lot of technologies which is being used internationally. That has been like we are using for the OTT platforms, like virtual production, not fully used to the full extent yet, but yes, definitely we are seeing a lot of movie makers open for that, where we could suggest, we can actually tell them what kind of difference would it make for their output, and then they are willing to accept it, and they are open to the suggestions what we have for them. Internationally, yes, they have a lot of technologies and everything going on, but yes, we have a budget restraints also for the Indian market when you're looking at 5 times the cost, the revenue which is being generated by the international movies, but we are at like 1/5, but we are still going for it, right? So we are slowly adapting whatever we can from what we learn from the international work, what we are doing, the counterparts are doing, our artists are doing here, but we could definitely get that into our domestic industry here.
Hey, Ankur hasn't spoken at all because he couldn't connect. Now he's connected. Welcome.
Yeah, I've just come in. Hi guys, hi.
Right. So I wanted to get a feel from you of India's strengths, in the Indian VFX community strength and the industry strength or the sector strength. And secondly, are we there yet? Have we reached those standards which would make us stand out?
So I'll tell you, we are really strong. We are there. So what happens is, there is a very big role of the producer to be played in the Indian market. See, Hollywood, they do understand because they know what's the output would be like. Here, the producers are not ready to be putting in that much. So when they realize, the budgets for complete effects are really high. It's not that we can't deliver. We are doing a lot of work for Hollywood. We can definitely deliver. It's like
it's a cost arbitrage. Hollywood is looking at cost arbitrage. It's not looking so much at quality for the most part, if I'm correct.
See, we deliver quality as well.
I think they're expecting both.
I want him to fight with me. I want him to fight with me. Fight with me now.
Yeah.
It's
definitely quality.
Yeah, quality. Global companies are not going to come to India if we're not able to deliver top-notch work. Then we're out. We're not.
I want this fight. I love it. I love it. I want this fight.
We're not going to be a preferred location, right? And that's not acceptable. We need to produce the same quality of work globally. There's no two ways about it.
So we are delivering that.
Okay, so it's no longer the cost arbitrage. You can command anything for a shot as much as ILM can command. Can you all?
No. But the thing is, you need to remain competitive in the whole business.
No, you need to be super competitive, not competitive.
So where obviously cost plays a part. It plays a big part, and we're able to scale up and do a lot more things. So for any business, look at the software story. All the other companies, all the international companies or Indian companies that grew is because of the scale that they could operate in India and the cost advantage. So you can't say that, will I get the same money ILM is getting there? Then you can't put it. That's not a fair question to compare to.
I can. No, you can argue with me and say it's not a fair question. It's fine.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a fair question.
Okay. Anybody else thinks it's not a fair question? Why shouldn't Indian companies command as much as ILM? Please tell me.
I think here's what I would say. I think that as they become more skilled, they will command higher.
So there's a gap in skilling. There's a gap in skilling.
Yeah, for instance, in our business, I think almost every year we've given at least a 10% increment, right? Somewhere between 8 and 10%. And over years, we have become more expensive. I just raised prices in my personal business for work that's coming from India. So I think it will happen. You also have to realize that these companies like DNEG, like Framestore, we're also highly integrated with other studios around the world. The work we don't think of the work just being in India anymore. It's everywhere. We're, especially after COVID, we're all virtually employing artists everywhere, right? So I think that, yes, there's an economy to it. But, the reason we partner and work with studios like ILM and Weta is because A, they want the quality, and B, there's an economics to being able to produce these films and these visual effects for the films. So I definitely think that India will start to command more money directly as they get more exposure directly. But I think it's, what is it? Spider-Man quotes, with great power comes great responsibility. And I think that's the thing that everybody has to get ready. The more you're exposed to the filmmakers, the closer you are to them. It's a big responsibility to be able to deliver those images and hear the filmmaker and get them exactly what they want.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate what you said. The closer we get to the filmmakers. So studios from India need to travel a lot more and meet a lot more people. I don't know if, Ankur, how many meetings do you have with the international filmmakers? How many meetings do you have?
We do get connect and we do deliver. Again, if they give us good time to work, they give us good money, so we deliver them quality.
Okay.
And in India, if I don't get it, I don't deliver quality.
In India, if you don't get it, I didn't get that last statement.
If I don't, in India, if I don't get that much of time, I can't deliver quality.
Okay. So I'm trying to understand the contradiction. So you want them to give you time, but you're not
Yes,
willing to go out enough to meet them.
Yes, we have reached to a level where we can deliver good quality. But yes, they are far in the Hollywood. They are far more understanding. They pre-plan it well. But in India, there is lack of planning before. So to reach a quality level, you need to plan well. So in India, that's the reason we are not delivering in Indian content. But when we are doing the same work, the same artists, when they work internationally, they do deliver quality.
Okay. And so also, Anil, just step in. It's also a factor somebody else made. Is also the value of the product that's being generated, right? A global product has 10 times the revenue compared to a product that's being made for the local industry. Okay, a local, even if you're looking at a Bollywood or the Indian thing, it's completely star driven. If I take at a big blockbuster movie, okay, 60% of the budget is the fees for the stars. Okay, if you look at a Hollywood movie, 50% of the budget or 30 could be for VFX or things like that, right? So it's even that aspect that plays into. If I see also questions which people ask, why are Indian product not as good as an international product? Like, Sanjay also mentioned, it's for a factor of time, it's a factor of budget, of what you can get to put in that energy and effort. To put in that effort, you need money.
Yeah, but you need to then
not only that, Hollywood's producing 200 to 400 films a year. India's producing 1,600 films a year. So you have a much wider, larger audience, and so films don't get as much time and budgets. But we have seen with Bahubali, and we've seen much larger budgets starting to appear, and projects starting to get some international appeal, certainly throughout Asia.
Yep. So coming back again, what are India's weaknesses? The VFX sector's weaknesses. Who wants to take it up? Prashant, you've been quiet, listening, absorbing. We need to hear your wisdom.
Well, weaknesses, I would say, trying to kind of, broaden your skill sets in terms of, not just kind of specializing in one, department, for example. Like I said, it's hard for us to kind of get generalist to be, because generalist is somebody who actually knows the kind of entire workflow of the asset. So it's hard for me to get those kind of talent pool at the moment, because these guys are the one who will actually be able to kind of support the kind of artist in terms of, if things are breaking and some sort of a pipeline support if they need. So I think that would be the key. I think that's one important thing. And like I said earlier, working the entire shot production, right from the pre-production up until the last, the pixel, the compositing. I think we need to kind of get there. We need to kind of build teams, a complete shot production team, wherein we kind of get the entire sequence, and we kind of interact directly with our directors and, visual effects supervisors, and we kind of manage the entire show. That's something I think we need to kind of get there. I think we have seen, and there are other studios working. I'm just talking about the kind of the quality which is expected. I think most recently I had actually worked on his Dark Materials, which is actually a OTT, series, his Dark Materials, which got to a BAFTA award, and I was lucky enough to actually work, alongside some of the VFX soup in London. I kind of understood the kind of quality they need, which really helped me to kind of get the kind of exposure and understanding of what needs to kind of be taken care in terms of the entire shot production.
Okay, great.
Something that I feel pretty passionate about for quite too many years. The West believed that planes only flew into India, not out of India. And I think the more that we bring Indian talent and expose them to, more mature visual effects groups and stuff like that, that education, those philosophies, that understanding will seep in even deeper into India and really help the artist space grow and be ready for that frontline position for a big Hollywood movie or series.
Yeah, so just to add to that, basically, I would say to sum it, exposure to projects and skills always kind of come with exposure. So I think yeah, the senior creative talent is something, we are kind of,
would like. That's a weakness. We don't have enough senior talent. Now, who else wants to give their perspective on what are the weaknesses? Where are the weaknesses?
I understand these like 5 years back or 6 years back, when you look at it, we didn't
Don't repeat the same point, Sanjay.
No.
I'd like you to bring another point.
Good VFX supervisors are being built up. That's what I'm saying. So when we are saying we didn't have talents in here, but the kind of growth we have seen in VFX supervisors coming in, who are now working as acting VFX supervisors with international VFX supervisors. So that is giving them a growth path, and these are going to be like what are going to be driving the Indian industries. I mean, for getting in the inputs. And
you're not adding to the points of weaknesses. You haven't added to the point of weakness.
Okay, so another point is like the technology. I'll definitely say the technology, what the international markets are using. Like just main example comes in for the virtual production. We have good Unreal artists. We have good creative guys who are doing that. But do we have the setups? Right now, last 2 days, I saw the Center of Excellence, which is being brought up. That is a good add-on to that. But these things, more of such technologies accessible to the domestic filmmakers, fitting the budget, that should be coming in, so that these kind of more things can be.
Okay, so we don't have technology. We don't have enough places where they can pick up this technology, or they can get it at affordable cost. Got your point. Who else wants to add to this? Sesha?
Yeah, I'll make 2 or 3 points. Okay, I'm going to derive this from our success story of why has India been successful. Is also because of scale. I feel that we need to sustain that scale. If you want India to become even more bigger, the amount of talent that is coming into the industry, okay, even at the junior level is very important. Okay, at the senior level, as people grow into that, it's the responsibility of the companies to give them the exposure and to grow them. Point number 1, to continue a success story, it's about sustaining the amount of talent that can be grown. The government initiatives to introduce VFX and animation basics to people at a rudimentary level, getting them exposure, getting them excited about this career, and talking to them that this is a great viable career option for kids, and they make enough money as a software business and all the stuff. That's important.
Entry level. We need entry level
talent.
Number
2,
entry level, and
huge, bigger number.
Okay,
big
next
numbers.
point.
Okay,
next
we're
point.
not talking about next point. Next point. As much as we are the technology hub of all the software and technology-driven companies, we need more people from the technology side, the software, the design, the guys who design softwares, and those kind of people stepping into our business, which is not gained as much momentum. Okay, that's a biggest. That is.
You're talking about coders, or you're talking about software? Mix. Okay.
Both software technology, coders, and all. We need more people getting into this business. The third point is we need companies to be more innovative. We're getting caught in the rut of just delivering projects where they're forgetting to be, set themselves aside to be more innovative, both creatively and technologically. I think innovation is a key to success. And I think I've not seen, there are some flash in the pans where we see a success story because of innovation. And that is a key driver that will be there. And we want Indian filmmakers to use Indian companies to tell global stories with global appeal, where the product value increases, and that's going to drive our success to the next level.
Okay.
Products from India having a global appeal, right? Okay. So great. These are a few of my points, and I'm sure I can add.
Yeah. Let Ankur also share his wisdom.
So yeah, we are actually quite weak in conveying it to the clients that what VFX can actually do till today. I mean, yes, I'm making a big point, but yes, we are quite weak. We know that we've innovated VFX. We're coming up with the new innovation and what we can do, but we aren't conveying it to our clients. We need to reach them. We need to educate them that what VFX can. We need to convey to them that what it will be benefited easy it is with VFX. So we aren't. I feel that's where our industry.
Ankur, it's a pity, man, that your
that can be improved.
Connectivity is so poor. It's a pity your connectivity is so poor. You got logged out again. All right. So we talked about the strengths. We talked about the weaknesses. Now, how do we plug the gap which is there between our strengths and our weaknesses? So we're not able to convince filmmakers about the value of VFX. We need to expose ourselves to a lot of international filmmakers. We need to build in talent at the lower level, while we also need to get talent at the supervisory level and generalists who can help in that. We also need to market ourselves. No, what's the route to fill that gap? Is it acquisition like Shesha's boss has done? From a garage in car today to having one of the top companies in the world on VFX? Or is it about growing organically? Or is it about sourcing talent from internationally to get them to come and work here? Like Pete's a foreigner who's living in India and working here and bringing in those expressions, and Aaron's a foreigner. So what's the way out there? Who wants to take this up?
I definitely think that creating more integration internationally in the studios, like I said, planes going both ways is really, really important. And one thing in regards to weakness that I think ties into this to bridge the gap is that, individual artists in the Indian industry, I mean, all of the guys that are here speaking today clearly had the responsibility with themselves to learn and to grow and to move up. But sometimes I think that there is a lack of understanding of how much is available from a knowledge standpoint to the most junior artist to grow and learn on their own. Clearly, they need a computer. Clearly, they need access to the internet and things like that. But I think the more the hunger burns in the Indian artist, I think the more the industry will grow. I'm starting to see it over the last few years where there's a lot more ownership. There's a little more excitement about learning a new piece of software, or, someone who's been a person in Paint moving on to Comp and learning Nuke. I think, with all things, it's much easier to lift a car with individual hands as opposed to one person. And I think the same thing can be with the industry, that the more each person takes on their own personal responsibility to make it better, the stronger the industry will be, and you will be able to, attract and work on more global projects at that time.
Okay, anyone else? Ankur or Prashant or Sesha?
Sorry, I just dropped off. I didn't get it. I'm sorry. I just missed something.
Yeah, so how are you going to fill the gap? I mean, the gap that is there between our strengths and our weaknesses to get there. What are the ways forward to fill the gap and keep it short, because we're running short on time?
I mean, as just, go to clients, explain them what we can do, teach them more, educate them. The young directors are coming up, so they are ready to accept. It's just that we need to reach them rather than they reaching us.
Okay, from our perspective, I've got a call from industry, from the TV producers now. They want us to hold workshops with them for Unreal Engine. So yesterday we had a session, and we're going to hold a workshop with them through Animation Express and IndianTelevision.com, and we're going to call on Unreal Engine. So they want to. So we are doing it in our own way, a way to getting more clients out there for you all in a way.
Right.
So any other solutions we can have? Shesha, you seem to be the wise old man, and Prashant can come in before.
Shesha, you want to continue, please? Go ahead.
No, Prashant, go ahead, Prashant.
All right. So I was actually also looking at one of the chat messages where somebody is asking about the Launchpad program, and also referring to, I think Shesha mentioned a while ago that, getting more people getting into this field. So I think, for what I know, I think not many institutes we have in India where, we have the kind of right trainers, who has this kind of industry experience. There are a couple of institutes, in Bangalore and Mumbai who actually reached out to us. They kind of reach out to us and understand, what their module should be, how we should kind of train them and kind of vet it through the experts. So I think that's something we're missing. We need to kind of ensure that we have the right trainers who has a good amount of industry experience. That again goes back to the same question that, we are a lack of senior, talent and artists. But I think we need to have institutes which kind of, train these artists with the right kind of tool sets and the workflow. And just to answer to one of the questions in chat, I think Launchpad is something which is successfully happening in the other sites, but we will be starting that shortly in Mumbai. So we will, I think even in the previous panel, I think somebody said that, do we take interns? So I think we will entertain that, because actually getting interns to kind of work in short production becomes really difficult. I mean, we have to kind of assign them a buddy, and then they kind of. So I think dedicated training for the interns is something we're looking forward to, and we'll be announcing that shortly.
Okay, now Shesha.
Okay, so I made the points about what our weaknesses are. I'm going to say how we are trying to address them. We want to address scale. We're reaching out and doing a stronger outreach with the educational institutes and partnering them. We are taking the responsibility of finishing the training for these individuals. We've trained in the last 6 to 8 months and absorbed about 400 people in various aspects of visual effects. I'm not talking about roto prep and all. I'm talking about FX, CFX, compositing, lighting, all areas where we've done green light programs. And in the last 8 months, we've trained. Addressing the senior crew issues. We are not only, we are transferring people to other sites for a year, 2 years, to get we have already pushed about 70 to 100 people to the global sites. Go work there and bring back the knowledge to be with us. At the same time, we are also giving opportunities for people, for the knowledge to stay within our business, to give them permanent transfers, and getting people to the other sites to work for them, because to fulfill their aspirations. And that's something that we are doing constantly. And the third aspect of it is our focus is going to be, giving back and growing more talent. Apart from that, is technology side of things, and doing similar programs to get more technology people into this business for us to, both on the support side of things as with basic IT stuff, but also pipeline workflow and software design aspect of it. It's something that we will be focusing on in the next year or so, and and adapting better production processes to, integrate more of the other verticals which we have in the business, and at the same time to make our company more successful, increase the scale globally. At the same time, increase the percentages of work that can be done in India to continue the success story.
Yeah, I'll give you some feedback. I've got feedback from some low-down artists. They say there's no work-life balance. We'll have to get that in place too.
Absolutely, and I think what has also made it difficult is every company tried very hard over the years to get a particular equilibrium. Last 2 years with COVID, it's been even more difficult.
Yeah, but before that, it was impossible. It's become difficult in the last 2 years, but before that, it was impossible. I have people who work for you, and they've kind of said, forget it, I'm not going to work in VFX. There's no work-life balance.
Absolutely. That's been a story, which is a global story, and it's become better, Anil, in terms of the rules and, the overtimes and, weekend payments and other things that are being made. It's become a lot more industry practices right now, and which means that it's going to cost the company if you're going to call people in to work extra. So those are responsibilities and checks and balances being put. And absolutely right now, if we don't do it as a company, a lot of people have so many opportunities, not only in India, but globally. The rates have gone up substantially in the last 2-3 years. The rates have gone up in, I would say, about 30%. And to average that, you need to get in talent at the lower level to average these costs. So it's also becoming as much as we say people have to work longer and things like that, but the wages have gone somewhere between 30 to 50% in cases in just 2 years. So people are making a lot more money, and which means they're able to command that he can determine which company he works for, which offers him better work-life balance. Those situations have evolved with more and more companies coming into India. Those are choices individuals have right now, which was not there before. So I'm not saying it's a perfect world yet, but it's getting much better.
Okay. Anyone else has any points? So we've got quite a range of points. We can get there. We are getting there, and we follow these. As a kind of we make it our leitmotif, and we say we're going to work on these parameters, and we're going to make sure we get there. So that by next year, we won't be asking, are we there yet? We'll say, we are there yet, mate. We are there, mate. We're not getting there. We are there. So can we have all the panelists? Can we have all the panelists, take an oath that they will take these steps and take the industry in the right direction. And everyone who's watching this, that they will take these right steps to get us right in the center spotlight of the worldwide entertainment industry, the VFX business in India.
Anil, as a DNEG, as a company with Indian OLS, I think with 4 nominations of the 5 BAFTAs this year and 2 Oscar nominations, I think why can't we take it that we are there for one company here? We have 4 of the 5 BAFTA nominations are from DNEG, and India has contributed on it. And 2 of the Oscars and the 5 Oscar nominations we contribute. And DNEG as a company has won 5 Oscars in the last 7 years. I don't think any other company has done it in the past. 5 Oscars in the last 7 years.
Well said. But we need to continue. One prime focus cannot define India. One double negative cannot define India. There have to be many more prime focuses. There have to be many more DNEGs, is what I'm saying, coming out of India. Don't mind me, please, Shesha. I'd like to see FilmCGI prosper. I'd like FilmCGI to prosper. I'd like Pixel to prosper. That would be great. Anyway, thank you for your time. You guys have been very kind and listening to my adamant direction that I'm giving to this entire session. Looking for problems, looking for strengths, and then looking for solutions for it. But thank you. You have been very kind and listening to my answering my hard questions. Thank you, each one of you all. And I hope, as I said, by next year we'll say we are there. We are fully there. Not just one studio, but many more studios.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.